Welcome back to KMI Community Connect viewers. We are going to talk again about AMP, where we ended last time, which is adenosine monophosphate, AMP, and monophosphate 1-phosphate. This is the energy molecule, and this is where we ended last time. So the A, for most of you who are not familiar with this word, it's adenosine. Now, if you look at this name, adenosine, this is coming from a background protein or RNA or DNA material that is actually adenine. Now, what is adenine? Adenine, I'm going to wipe off the board here, and then adenine is belonging to a group that you must have heard in DNA, RNA, and genetic material that is discussed in science, in basic science or anywhere about the genes and genetic material. So the adenine is one of the nitrogen based compounds that belongs to a group called purines. Now the purine basically is RNA, which you have heard with this new viral thing that we say RNA viral, DNA virus and everything like this is a genetic material. So the DNA and RNA, these are all the purines. It's a genetic material. So what happens? The purine is actually, the adenine part is breaking down and becoming uric acid in the pathway that I am going to describe in detail further down. But for now, I will stick to this. So what are the sources again of purine to make more uric acid? Now, first source is 60 to 70% or about 2/3 of the purine that makes uric acid. The uric acid source in our body is made by ourselves by breakdown of our tissues and muscles every day, and that gets recycled again to go back to make the DNA and RNA again. So the body has a way of recycling. The rest that comes is either coming from outside, which is called as exogenous. Exogenous is coming from outside, and something that's happening from within is the endogenous. That is happening inside, endogenous. So that means it's generating from inside is the purines that break down to uric acid, make RNA, DNA and keep recycling. So what are the exogenous sources for the purines and then that lead to the uric acid? So the first source that they talk about from exogenous thing is this is most talked about as this is the most important contributing factor even in med schools and in the mainstream. They say that high purine diet, but we talked that 2/3 is coming from within your body. But something that is most talked about is red meats, which are the organ meats. Now, the organ meats like liver, kidney, these are the sources. Because why is that they have more uric acid is because these organs, and also to mention about fish like mackerel and anchovy. Why are they more, why do they have more purine and which leads to uric acid is because they are very cellular organs, extremely cellular. So if you have more cellular structure, that will lead to more uric acid because they have more RNA and DNA being cellular, and that can cause more accumulation of uric acid, which is why there is more uric acid accumulation. But however, since so much of that has been talked about, the contribution of this to what we see now this day and age is at best modest or even less than that, because red meats eat eaten in moderation is not really that big a reason for the fructose levels and uric acid that you see in this day and age. The real contribution that is happening now in this day and age, even in children, the uric acid is accumulating without much symptoms directly, is fructose consumption, like we talked about. But what are the sources of that fructose? Is like the name says, fruit juice, fruit sugar, fructose, like that. So that is fruits. Even vegetables have fructose, but fruits is one thing. And then the other aspect is alcohol. Alcohol and fruits, they have the same pathway of metabolizing and make uric acid, pretty much similar. We are going to talk more and more about it, because this is very important, because we see a lot of this effect, because we see a lot of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease even in children nowadays, and alcohol causes, and children don't consume alcohol, and you're seeing that kind of fat accumulation in the liver, which is a big epidemic now going on. Either they're getting obese or having non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is a big problem that we are facing. If they don't consume alcohol, if they're consuming fruits in big number, I'm going to talk about it when I digress a little bit later, that is going to cause uric acid and fat accumulation, like I mentioned before. That's one. The other aspect is various other exogenous, endogenous ways, depending on our body state. So mostly today I'm going to digress a little bit, because I got asked a question by at least 2 or 3 people about, should I eat fruit? So the question is, should I eat fruit? Because now they're getting concerned about fructose, which can become uric acid and can accumulate fat and other ways other than just being a caloric component, because it is not about the calorie, because you consume the same amount, 10, 20 grams, 30 grams or 40 grams of fructose versus glucose. It is not calorie to calorie. It is a completely different pathway where it stimulates. So calories is not a calorie, so don't count calories. It is a type of food. The side chain reactions that make it more so, calories won't matter. This is a different way of how the signaling pathway works in the body. So the question about fruits, once again, is if you eat a regular fruit, the fruit has about 5 grams of fructose, and so quantity wise, dose wise, if you eat 1 fruit or even if you eat 2 fruits, you will go up to 10 grams, and the body can manage it very well and metabolize it very well, because the intestine can handle it without it going too much into the liver, by stimulating that enzyme that I spoke about called fructokinase, which is only one way to make uric acid. So with 5 grams to 10 grams or only a little bit more, up to 15 grams, the intestine can handle it and it won't let it go to the liver. So that I'm going to talk about this mechanism of flooding the liver later in my next episode. But so the body manages it well without being flooded to the liver, and the liver makes more uric acid and also fat generation there. So that is okay. So, and also the second aspect is it also has fiber. So when you eat fiber, it slows down your movement in the gut and absorption, so that helps naturally. The third aspect is the fruits have what is called as vitamin C. Vitamin C, what it does is it takes the uric acid and it excretes it through the kidneys. If the uric acid accumulates, it brings it out. So vitamin C will help you to urinate more of uric acid through the kidneys. So that's one good aspect. The other part is there are some compounds that I'm going to list on the screen. It's called quercetin and luteolin. These are very powerful bioflavonoids. That is called bioflavonoids in the fruits. Bioflavonoids quercetin and luteolin, what they do is they inhibit an enzyme called xanthine oxidase. Now, xanthine oxidase will stop making uric acid. That means it inhibits, it stops here. So, we have a drug called allopurinol that most of the people who have gout, they know that, and if they use allopurinol, it doesn't make uric acid. Now, the bioflavonoids, which is quercetin and luteolin, they have the same capacity like allopurinol to stop the uric acid. So, eating a fruit in moderation is fine. Body can handle it, plus it is also dose dependent, and it also has fiber which slows down. It has bioflavonoids, it has vitamin C. Like I mentioned, the bioflavonoids stop making uric acid, vitamin C will excrete it. So, eating a fruit is not a problem at all, eating 1 or 2 fruits. Remember, this is the serving size, this is about 1 ounce. If you do 3 servings to 5 servings, you will never cross beyond 100 grams to 150 grams, which is a serving size, and which is what 1 fruit is when you eat, plus all these additional benefits. So, eating a fruit, eat an apple a day will keep a doctor away, absolutely true. But if you eat 5 apples a day or drink 5 apples, which I am going to talk next time, because you're drinking, you're taking away the fiber, apple juice, you're taking away the fiber, or dried fruits. So, when you drink fruits, we don't have apple juice bottles growing on the trees. So, obviously 5 apples a day or 5 bananas a day or 5 anything that's higher and higher and higher, 5 apples a day the doctor you will pay. So, that's how it goes, and then I will explain more in detail about this later. But for now, eating a fruit, 1 or 2 fruits is absolutely fine, the body can handle it, and we will talk more in detail about other pathways next time when I talk to you. Thank you very much.